Welcome to Active Stretching. I'm Barry Bailey. I'm passionate about active stretching, and I hope you are too. If this is something new to you, I hope I will give you some information that will allow you to do active stretching. And if you're already doing it, you're familiar with it, I hope that I will be able to give you some information that will give you an even better stretch. In this video, I'm going to teach you how to do active stretching. First of all, you isolate. You want to isolate the muscle or the muscle group that you want to target for your stretch. We're not stretching big areas of muscle or great areas of the body. We're stretching a specific point on the body so that we get a full stretch, and the brain is going to do that. The brain is going to focus in on that specific spot. With active stretching, we always begin the stretch at neutral. Generally speaking, the anatomical position is neutral for many of the stretches. And the anatomical position is what we see in charts of bones, a full skeletal arrangement of the bones or of the muscles. It's looking at the front of the body, arms are at side, palms facing forward. And that's basically what's known as the anatomical position. So we start in neutral, and from there, we begin the stretch by doing an exhale. And the reason for that is that when you do an exhale, you send a relaxation message throughout your entire body, but you specifically will be targeting it to the muscle that is being stretched. And that will tell the muscle to relax. With that exhale, you are going to do a contraction. A contraction is done of the muscle that does the action opposite of what is done by the muscle that you're targeting. Muscles are in pairs. We have, for example, muscles on the sides of our neck. One side does this, the other side does that. And so if I want to stretch this side of my neck, I'm going to contract this side, so it looks like this. If I want to stretch this side of the neck, I'm going to go in the opposite direction and do this. So the same thing is true with your arm. If I want to stretch my bicep, which is here in front, I'm going to start at neutral like this, and I'm going to contract the opposing muscle, which is the tricep, and that will give me a stretch for the bicep. If I want to stretch the tricep in the back, I'm going to contract the biceps in the front and do this. The brain will send two messages. One will be to the muscle that you're contracting, and you're giving a good contraction. And the second message goes to the muscle that you are targeting for your stretch. And that will be told by the brain to stop working because the opposite muscle is now working. So you don't want both muscles in both directions to be working at once. So the brain knows this, the body knows this, your muscles know this. You don't want the muscles to be fighting each other. So your brain gives the instruction to the muscle you're targeting for the stretch, stop working. There's another muscle working right now. You can just chill out. When you've gone all the way to the full extent of the direction that that muscle will pull you with its contraction. And the assist can be in two different ways, basically. First of all, some of the stretches won't have an assist, but you will either use your hand or you might use a rope like this to assist your stretch. With that assist, you're going to hold for only 1.5 seconds to 2 seconds. And the reason for that is that you have receptors in your muscles, and if they perceive a stretch that seems to be a danger to them, they will react against you by contracting. So then you haven't gotten a stretch. You've actually got a contraction and you've lost all the benefit of doing a stretch. So what you want to do is get into the stretch and get out of the stretch before that happens. So you're doing the exhale, you're doing the contraction, you're going all the way through the range of motion of that joint, and then giving an assist with either your hand or the rope. In some of the cases, we're not doing an assist at all because it's not possible. So you're holding for 1.5 to 2 seconds, and that depends on your body type, your muscle development, a whole lot of other issues. And you have to discover how long you hold You have to discover that for yourself. And the way you do that is you hold, and you will be able to sense when your muscles are beginning to fight you. You don't want to get to that point. You want to get out of the stretch before that happens. And it'll take a little while for you to practice that and discover what works best for you. Generally speaking, the more muscular you are, the more muscle bulk you have, the longer you're going to have to wait, but you don't want to wait too long. And then you want to hold that stretch long enough that the muscles actually recognize that it's a stretch and not an aerobic exercise of just going back and forth, because we're going to repeat and repeat and repeat the stretch. So you've finished the stretch at the end of that hold, 1.5 to 2 seconds. And from there, you go back to neutral, whatever that is, as you inhale. And then you repeat that same stretch. And the number of times you repeat is generally, we say, don't do more than 10 repetitions at a time, because if you do more than 10 repetitions, you're going to start to irritate the muscle, and then you've lost the benefit of the stretch. It's more beneficial to do a number of different times of stretching and only do a few repetitions than to do a lot of repetitions at once. So 10 is basically the number to aim for as the limit. Even if you do just 2 or 3 repetitions, it's still going to be beneficial. You are still going to benefit from the stretch that you're doing. Let me demonstrate now for you how this works using my neck muscles, because they're easy to see. I have muscles on either side of my neck. They're attaching out here on the edge of my shoulder. They're coming up and attaching here at the base of my skull. So it basically makes the covers the upper part of my shoulder. So I have this on one side and I have it on the other side. So if I want to stretch this side, I'm going to contract the muscles on this side. So I'm going to do an exhale. And I want it to be a nice forceful exhale. And I like to do it through my mouth because I can get a good forceful exhale that way. So I'm going to do the exhale. I'm going to contract these muscles, taking my head as far to the side towards my shoulder as I can, taking my ear towards my shoulder. And then at the very end, when I've gone as far as these muscles will take my head, I'm going to use my hand to assist. So it looks like this. And as you can see, my holds are fairly fast. I'm doing only about 1.5 seconds. And the reason for that is I have very wiry muscles, very sinewy muscles. I do not have muscle bulk at all. So I have to get in and get out of that stretch really fast, because otherwise my muscles will tighten up against me. If I'm taking my head like this, these muscles are going to tighten up and say, oh dear, there's something happening here. We don't want this to happen. And so I've got to get out of that stretch before that happens. So a successful stretch will be going as far as you can, assisting, but getting out of it before the muscles react by saying, we don't want to do this. We don't want you to do this. So this is how we do active stretching. It's fairly simple. The hardest part is the breath. Exhaling on the right part of the stretch is what people have the most trouble getting and remembering to do. It seems somewhat counterintuitive to be doing it that way, but you do that in everyday life. For example, if you're walking or if you're running or doing any kind of aerobic exercise, your breath is compatible with the movement that you're doing. It's just that you don't control it. You don't have to control it. It does it on its own. In this case of doing active stretching, you have to think about it and you have to control it. And that's where you will get the most benefit from the stretch, with that breath. And one of the things to remember is a muscle cannot stretch if you're holding your breath. It absolutely cannot physically happen. It's impossible. So remember that as an incentive to do the breathing properly and do nice, forceful, deep breaths so you're getting lots of oxygen into your lungs, because that means you're going to get lots of oxygen throughout your entire body, and particularly good oxygen and nutrients to the muscles that you're stretching. And that means they're going to recover and they're going to grow much faster. So that's how we do active stretching. I hope that this has been helpful for you. I'm Barry Bailey, signing off. Check me out again. See you next time with active stretching.